$544 million in 5 days. Visually, a masterpiece. But here's what nobody's saying out loud. James Cameron just made the same movie twice, and buried inside 3 hours of blue aliens fighting is the best villain he's created in 20 years. Her name is Varang, leader of the Ash people. And she's the only character who understands something terrifying. What if your God abandoned you? What if everything you believed in watched you suffer and did nothing? Welcome to 25th Frame. Today I'm breaking down Avatar, Fire and Ash. Not the spectacle, not the box office, the psychology. Why Varang is the villain Cameron should have made in 2009. Why this movie repeats Way of Water beat for beat and somehow gets away with it. And the one scene at the very end that changes everything you think you know about Eywa. If you stay until the final 60 seconds of this video, I'll show you the detail 99% of viewers missed. The clue that proves Varang was right all along. But first, smash that like button. Because we're about to spoil a 3-hour movie in 20 minutes, and I need you to save this before YouTube buries it in the algorithm. Let's go. The uncomfortable truth. Let me say what critics are afraid to say. Avatar Fire and Ash is Way of Water. Same structure. Same beats. Same emotional arc. Jake's family is still recovering from trauma. Check. New tribe of Na'vi with different culture. Check. Bad guys attack. Check. Big water battle at the end. Check. Even the runtime is nearly identical. 3 hours 17 minutes versus 3 hours 12 minutes. Cameron made $500 million by repeating himself. And somehow, it's still breathtaking. But here's the problem. For the first time in 40 years, James Cameron is on autopilot. This is the director who revolutionized sci-fi 3 separate times. The Terminator redefined action. Aliens redefined sequels. Titanic redefined blockbusters. Avatar redefined 3D cinema. Cameron doesn't copy trends, he creates them. Until now. Fire and Ash is the first Cameron film that feels safe. Beautiful, technically perfect, emotionally manipulative in all the right ways, but safe. And the reviews reflect it. 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, 59 on Metacritic. The worst scores in the franchise? Critics are saying, stunning visuals, hollow story. Audiences are saying, I cried, but I'm not sure why. And everyone's asking the same question. What happened? Comment below. Did Fire and Ash feel like a repeat to you? Or am I being too harsh? What actually works? But here's the twist. Despite being a retread, Fire and Ash does 3 things better than any previous Avatar film. 1. The grief. Neteyam's death hangs over every single scene. This isn't a family that moved on. This is a family drowning in trauma. Jake blames himself for bringing war to the reef. Neytiri blames Spider for existing. Loak blames himself for Neteyam's sacrifice and literally tries to die. Kiri retreats further into Eywa because humans are unbearable. Took is the only one holding it together, and she's 14. Cameron understands something most blockbusters ignore. Trauma doesn't end when the villain dies. It follows you. 2. The Ash people. Visually, they're stunning. Charcoal gray skin, ember red eyes, covered in ash and volcanic war paint. But here's what makes them terrifying. They're Na'vi who stopped believing. Every other tribe we've met worships Eywa, the forest people, the reef people, the plains riders. All of them trust that the Great Mother protects. The Ash people don't, because she didn't. And that philosophical break makes them more dangerous than any human weapon. 3. Varang. Una Chaplin plays Varang like a warrior prophet who's seen too much. She's not evil, she's exhausted. Her people prayed during the volcanic eruption. Eywa didn't answer. Her children burned, her forests died, her world ended, and Eywa was silent. So Varang made a choice. If the goddess won't protect us, we'll protect ourselves. By any means necessary, including working with the humans she hates. That's not villainy. That's survival with the faith beaten out of you. And Chaplin plays every scene like someone who's already died inside. It's the best performance in the movie. Hit like if you think Varang deserved more screen time, because she absolutely did. The villain Cameron wasted. Who is Varang? Let's talk about what the movie shows us. Varang is the Tsahik of the Ash people. Not just a warrior, a spiritual leader, which makes her rejection of Eywa even more devastating. She didn't lose faith casually. She lost it after leading her people in prayer while they burned alive. The movie shows this in one flashback, a massive volcanic eruption. Na'vi families huddled together, hands raised to the sky, chanting for Eywa's protection. And nothing happens. The lava comes, the ash falls, the children scream. Eywa does not intervene. Varang survives, but her daughter doesn't. And in that moment, something breaks. Not her strength, her belief. From that point forward, Varang stops praying. She starts preparing. Her philosophy is brutal and simple. Eywa does not choose sides, so neither will I. And here's why that's brilliant. Varang isn't wrong. The theology problem. Here's the question Avatar has been avoiding for 3 movies. If Eywa is all-knowing and all-powerful, why does she let Na'vi suffer? The forest people were nearly wiped out by the RDA. The Tolkun were hunted to near extinction. The reef people watched their spirit brothers murdered for brain fluid. And now the Ash people burned. Where was Eywa? The movie's answer, delivered through Jake, is Eywa protects the balance, not individuals. Which is a pretty way of saying, sometimes the goddess lets you die for the greater good. And Varang's response is perfect. Then she is not a mother. She is a calculation. That line hits like a knife, because she's right. If Eywa can intervene, and we've seen she can, but chooses not to, then every Na'vi death is a choice she made. Varang lost her faith because she did the math. And Cameron, for the first time in this franchise, doesn't have a good answer. Drop a comment. Is Varang right? Or is faith bigger than logic? Why she works with Quaritch. Now here's where it gets complicated. Varang hates humans. She calls them sky demons and plague walkers. But when Quaritch offers her weapons, intelligence, and support against Jake Sully, she takes the deal. Not because she trusts him, because she's pragmatic. Her logic is cold and perfect. The enemy of my enemy is my tool. She's not betraying the Na'vi by working with humans. She's using humans to destroy the Na'vi who still cling to a goddess that failed her. It's not evil. It's trauma weaponized. And the scary part? It almost works. The wasted potential. Here's my problem with Fire and Ash. Varang should be the main character. Not Jake, not Neytiri, not even Loak. Varang. Because her story is the most interesting question the franchise has ever asked. What happens when Faith dies? But Cameron sidelines her. She gets maybe 30 minutes of screen time in a 3-hour movie. The rest is Jake running around yelling, "Kids, stay close," for the 50th time. We've seen Jake's arc twice. We haven't seen a Na'vi leader lose her religion and become something new. That's the movie I wanted. Instead, we get Varang as a boss fight. And it's a waste of Una Chaplin, who's giving her whole soul to a role the script doesn't care about. If you agree Varang deserved her own movie, comment Varang solo film right now. Let's make Cameron see it. The scenes that matter. Loak's suicide attempt. Okay, let's talk about the heaviest scene in the movie. Loak tries to kill himself. Not metaphorically, literally. He swims out into open ocean during a storm, intending not to come back. Because he blames himself for Netyam's death. Because his recklessness got his brother killed. And because he can't live with being the son who survived when the better son didn't, Cameron films this scene with zero music. Just wind. Waves. Loak's breathing. He's underwater, sinking, eyes open, letting go. And then Payakan, his spirit brother, drags him back to the surface, forcing him to live. It's brutal, it's raw, and it's the most honest moment in the movie. Because Cameron's not saying suicide is wrong. He's saying sometimes you survive against your will, and you have to figure out what to do with that. That's real. Hit like if this scene destroyed you, because it should. Neytiri versus Spider. Here's the relationship nobody wants to talk about. Neytiri hates Spider. Not dislikes, not distrusts. Hates. To her, Spider is a human, and humans killed her father, burned her home, murdered her son. Spider being Quaritch's biological son makes it worse. Every time she looks at him, she sees the enemy. And Spider knows it. There's a scene where Neytiri sharpens a blade while staring at Spider across the camp. She doesn't say a word. She doesn't have to. The message is clear. If you give me a reason, I will end you. And Spider, to his credit, never flinches. He knows he's living on borrowed time. Jake is the only thing keeping him alive. And even Jake is starting to wonder if Neytiri's right. This tension never resolves. By the end of the movie, Neytiri still hates Spider. Spider still stays. And that unresolved rage is going to explode in Avatar 4. Guarantee it. Comment Team Neytiri or Team Spider. No wrong answers, but I need to know where you stand. The final battle. The climax is exactly what you expect. Quaritch and Varang attack the reef with gunships and Ash People warriors. Jake rallies the Metkaina. Big fight. Underwater chaos. Things explode. Quaritch and Jake have another knife fight on a sinking ship. Varang and Neytiri have a bow and arrow duel in the burning forest. It's beautifully shot, but it's also, we've seen this. The beats are identical to Way of Water's finale, right down to the Jake almost drowns but gets saved at the last second moment. Here's the difference. Varang doesn't die. She loses the fight, her forces retreat. But she survives. And in the final shot of her, she's staring at the horizon, covered in ash and blood, whispering, "This isn't over." That's the hook for Avatar 4. And honestly, that's the movie I want to see. Not another Quaritch redemption arc. Varang's Reckoning. The ending nobody's talking about? What actually happened? Okay, here's the part everyone missed. In the final scene, after the battle, Kiri goes into the Tree of Souls. She's trying to connect with Eywa, asking for guidance, asking why so much suffering. And for the first time in the franchise, Eywa responds. Not with visions, not with glowing plants, with words. Kiri hears a voice, and it says, "Balance requires loss. Growth requires fire. I do not intervene. I witness." Kiri asks, "Then what are you?" And Eywa responds, "I am not your mother. I am your mirror." The screen cuts to black. Let me say that again. Eywa, the goddess every Na'vi worships, just said, "I am not your mother." That changes everything. What this means. For 3 movies, we've been told Eywa is a protective deity, the Great Mother who watches over Pandora. But Fire and Ash reveals something darker. Eywa is not a god. She's a network, a biological consciousness that reflects the ecosystem. She doesn't intervene because she can't choose sides. She is all sides. Every death feeds her. Every birth sustains her. She doesn't love the Na'vi more than the humans, or the Ash people, or the Tolkun. She is the sum of all life. Which means Varang was right. Eywa is not a mother. She's a mirror. And when Varang's people burned, Eywa didn't save them because saving them would unbalance something else. That's not cruelty. That's nature. But tell that to a mother holding her dead child. This is the most complex idea Cameron has ever put in an Avatar movie, and barely anyone noticed. If this revelation just changed how you see the entire franchise, hit that like button right now. Why Varang's story isn't over. Here's what I think Avatar 4 will be. Varang heard that line too, because she was connected to the Tree of Souls during the battle. And if she knows Eywa is not a mother but a mirror, her entire philosophy is validated. She's not a heretic. She's a realist. And now she has proof. Avatar 4 won't be humans versus Na'vi. It'll be Na'vi who accept Eywa's indifference versus Na'vi who reject it. Faith versus reality. Neytiri versus Varang. That's the war Cameron is building toward. And it's going to be devastating. The secret I promised you. Remember at the start, I said there's a detail 99% of people missed? Here it is. In the flashback of the volcanic eruption, watch Varang's daughter. Right before the lava hits, she's holding a small plant. A plant that's glowing. That glow is Eywa's neural network. The child was connected, and Eywa let her burn anyway. Varang didn't just lose her daughter. She lost her while her daughter was literally praying. That's not faith dying. That's faith being murdered. And now you understand why Varang can never go back. If this detail just broke your heart, share this video, because people need to know. Avatar Fire and Ash is not a bad movie. It's a beautiful, emotionally manipulative, technically perfect retread, but buried inside is the best idea Cameron's had in years. What happens when your god stops being your protector and becomes your observer? Varang is the answer. And she's the character this franchise needs. Not another noble warrior fighting for balance. A broken leader who realized balance doesn't care about you. Cameron's building towards something massive in Avatar 4 and 5. A theological war inside the Na'vi themselves. And Varang will be at the center, If you made it this far, drop a comment. Would you follow Varang or stay loyal to Eywa? Like this video if Varang deserved more screen time. Save it if you think Avatar 4 will finally give her the story she deserves. Share it with your Avatar group chat and start the debate. This was 25th Frame. And remember, sometimes the villain is just someone who stopped believing the lie. See you in the next one.